Right, now if you're accepted for your master's, PhD degree, maybe even honours actually, and would know that it comes along with so many components that can leave you feeling a little overwhelmed at times. You have to write a research proposal, or if you need funding, or if you need to write a grant proposal. Yeah, it can all be quite breathtaking. To speak to us a little bit about an autumn school for postgraduate students is Dr Layla Cassim, who runs her own consultancy and is the creator of the Postgraduate Toolkit. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thanks very much, Peter. Thanks for having me on.
And I've got to tell you, I'm studying at the moment and I saw this toolkit of yours and I thought, my goodness, she's come just at the right time. So the question is, it is quite daunting, this idea of doing research, coming up with these long documents. Give us a bit of background of why you came up with this autumn school. What did you see? What did you recognize that this school needed to happen?
Okay. Well, my business specializes in providing support to postgraduate students and researchers. So that's what I do. My business is about 7 years old, and I've noticed that many postgraduate students don't actually have the adequate support that they need. Thinking about my own journey as a postgraduate student, when I was doing my PhD, when I was doing my MBA, there were certain gaps along the way. And I know that many postgraduate students have the same kinds of challenges. There could also be problems that they're having with the supervisor, perhaps with the universities. So it's a whole lot of issues, financial issues as well, which makes it more difficult for people to actually write up a thesis.
Right.
So I know that, and especially if students are distance students, not based on campus, there's that geographical distance as well. So it's actually very easy for many students to fall through the cracks and land up not completing their degrees on time. So I want to provide a safety net to provide that kind of support and assistance to postgrad students. One of the first things that I did when I started my business was to develop the Postgraduate Toolkit on CD. So this is a CD that basically covers the entire research process from the beginning, so the proposal stage, all the way through to the very end. And there are 10 chapters on the CD. But I find that it's not enough to just have a CD. Yes, the CD is accessible to students, and they can work on the material in their own time. But I think it's very important to still have a workshop where there's face-to-face interaction, where if students have questions, if they need me to have a look at their writing, we can do so. So with this autumn school, it's a 5-day workshop, a public workshop that I'm running, because normally I go to different universities and I run in-house universities there. This autumn school is different because it's a public workshop, so anyone can attend, regardless of which institution they're at. So it also allows me to access students who are from universities where I don't run workshops.
Right.
And it will be in Johannesburg from the 15th to the 19th of May. So we're having it in the middle of May. And in these 5 days, we are going to be covering the entire research process.
Right.
So we spend one whole day looking at the research proposal. We go through that in a lot of detail because the research proposal is actually the most important document that is going to guide you in completing the entire project. And if you have a weak proposal, you will end up with a weak thesis later on.
So you're almost suggesting that there's a science to this, and that there's things that you can tick off of a checklist, and if you do those things, you'll get through the process.
Definitely, and this is something that I emphasize in my workshop, that research is not a haphazard activity, where we do a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow if we've got time or if we feel like it, and then weeks go by, nothing happens, and then we try and put it all together. But we need to have a structured, systematic process in place. So I mentioned that we start off day 1, we look at the research proposal. Day 2, we spend the whole of day 2 looking at research design and methodology, especially from an examiner's perspective, because the examiner who's going to be marking your thesis, they're going to attack and try and find fault with how you did it, why this method, why not another method, error, bias, reliability, validity. So these are issues that examiners are going to be raising. And then we spend the whole of the 3rd day looking at thesis writing. We look at different structures of a thesis, what goes where, how to write the different chapters. We also look at university requirements for submission, examiners' expectations. So I take people through a typical examiner's form so you can see the kinds of questions examiners will be asked when marking your thesis. We look at common mistakes that students make in academic writing. And then on day 4, we look at how to publish a paper. because especially if one is interested in a long-term career in academia or research, we need to start publishing as much as possible. We look at how to do oral and poster presentations of the research. We look at mentorship and the student-supervisor relationship, because that is a problem for many students. And then there's also time in the workshop for people to work on their own individual writing. There's time for individual work, also group exercises, and for me to then give feedback. So it's a very interactive 5-day workshop in which we cover the whole research process.
All right, www.laylacassim.co.za is the website to find all the information for this. Thank you so much for a comprehensive update. I think I'm going to be there because I've got a feeling I need to tick a lot of boxes. Thank you so much for your insights, and we look forward to seeing what comes out of autumn school.
Okay, thank you very much,
Layla Cassim. Okay, so that was Dr. Layla Cassim, who will be running her autumn school from the postgraduate students and honours students as well at the Braamfontein Theatre in Johannesburg for 5 days, 15 to 19 May 2017.